And the second test match between South Africa and England, highlights of the first day of play here. And the first test match washed out at Centurion Park, a draw, so both sides very eager to get a result under their belts here. And it's certainly proving to be a very, very intriguing series, this, albeit that we're only in the second test match. Well, the two teams are interestingly poised, and let's take a look at the England lineup. They've made one change, and that's Devon Malcolm coming into this test lineup, perhaps the only venue that he was likely to get a nod. And he's not been in great form, but England have opted for a four-pronged pace attack with Cork, Goff, Fraser and Malcolm. Richard Illingworth, the man sitting out. Mark Eilert is the 12th man. The South African side, a couple of changes from the first test, with Brett Schultz out due to injury. Merrick Pringle was called on as his replacement, but Clive Eksteen gets his first test cap at the Wanderers in place of Craig Matthews. Matthews has had such success at this ground. A hard selection for the South Africans, but they've decided to balance the attack with the three seamers in terms of Pringle, Donald, the four seamers at least, Pringle, Donald, McMillan and Pollock, and then the left armour of Clive Eksteen. Well, with that in mind, England captain Mike Atherton, having called correctly, decided to field first. Well, he's got four fast bowlers, so I suppose he should have, but the pitch also well grasped, so the decision perhaps the right one. Hansie Cronje said he would have batted first had he have won the toss. Well, let's join our commentators, Jack Bannister and Trevor Quirk, as the umpires Carl Liebenberg and Darryl Hare take the field.
Umpire Hare, something of a controversial figure in world umpiring, and certainly the South Africans feel that they've had one or two unhappy moments with him. And umpire Carl Liebenberg has been touring the world, doing tests here, there and everywhere. Andrew Hudson and Gary Kirsten opening the innings for South Africa. And Andrew Hudson, we remember that wonderful debut test 100 of 163 against the West Indies. A man who's been in and out of form, at the moment in good form, after a big 100 in the Currie Cup match leading up to this test. Not a bad crowd in for the first day of the test at the Wanderers, and Dominic Cork early on getting swing.
Well, this is one of Cork's strengths, and he bowls from so close and swings the ball under most conditions, and that is a little beauty. Terrific debut at Lord's earlier on this year, and it's that away swing which can bother the left-handers such as Gary Kirsten as well as the right-handers. And Kirsten looking for a first 100 at averaging 35, and a good punchy solid performer.
And approaching 1,000 runs in Test cricket, and an early wake-up call from Devon Malcolm. And that hit him, not sure where.
I think Devon Malcolm there, he's banged it in. Kirsten's gone for the hook, through with it, and he's clearly got it on the arm or the wrist. And Devon Malcolm's pace, that'll hurt no matter what you're wearing. There it is, the left forearm.
Another lifter there from Devon Malcolm, and that hit Andrew Hudson, and I think it might have come off his chest and up into the visor, or straight onto the visor.
Yes, it was. It's a fairly lively start from Malcolm. He hasn't been in top form or rhythm on the tour.
Very slow start for South Africa. Big appeal for LBW. And up goes the finger of umpire Carl Liebenberg. Alex Stewart throwing it up there in the gully. Now, was that LBW, or was it a little inside edge that might have then carried to Stewart?
No question in my mind. Cork went up for the appeal. He's not looking where the ball's gone. He's straight away round. Stewart, he wants to catch it. He's heard something.
Well, Andrew Hudson, whatever, out for a duck. So Hansie Cronje in a little earlier than he would have liked. average of just over 40, one of the few South African test batsmen with an average of over 40. And that's 4 runs. There's no third man. 3 slips in a gully.
Well, with a bowler of Malcolm's type, extra pace, he's never going to be an economic bowler, and anything wide, if you give it the treatment, you ride your luck with 3 slips in a gully, and Kirsten's prepared to do that.
And that looped up over the head of the forward short leg, and I think there might have been a little bit of bat there.
I think England are still working on a theory that Hansie Cronje might be a little suspect against a short ball. He's worked hard at his game. He was found wanting a little bit at the Headingley and also at the Oval. But England are still prepared to probe around that area.
And that's 4 runs. One of his favourite shots. Back with a square on the offside. I think it might have been in the air for a little while.
I think there's a lot of John Edrich, the England batting coach, in Gary Kirsten's style. There are no frills, he's not pretty, but a punchy, strong player. Very strong there on the cut.
In fact, over the head of the man who's in at gully, quite a long way from the bat. And that too is in the air, and it finds the gap between the gully and the man at point. And that's 4 runs, but not a very convincing one. He didn't get over the top of it.
No, I think what's encouraging for South African supporters is the positive attitude of Hansie Cronje. He's decided to come in at number 3.
That's a lovely shot. He's very strong there through mid-wicket, gets his weight up nicely.
This is one of the problems that all bowlers find, not just this 4-man pace attack. Against a left-right combination, the line constantly has to be altered, and it doesn't need to be far off track and you're gone.
Well, that's a cracking shot from Hansie Cronje. It was fairly wide, but he just threw the bat at it.
That's right. Footwork, not a great deal of it, but who cares when the ball goes off the bat as hard as that.
And another on drive. That's his 2nd boundary through mid-wicket. Beautifully played.
Yes, that one was played squarer. He waited for the ball to come. Just watch the wrists go there. Lovely stuff.
Angus Fraser again. And once again he's put away through mid-wicket. Fraser will need to learn that you can't afford to bowl at Midland leg to Gary Kirsten. Good save by Darren Gough. I don't think the 3rd umpire will be asked to adjudicate on that. I think he got a boot in there and prevented it from going into the rope before he did.
Well, a crowd that's slowly building, and they're enjoying this. There goes the boot, and the other one into the rope, and there goes the rope.
And the chair. 3 runs.
I think that Atherton now, his main concern is that all 4 of his main bowlers settle into something of a line and length, but Darren Gough, short, wide, asking for it, getting it. That's the 50 partnership, and suddenly a run rate which was sticking at only just over a run and over, now climbing up towards 3.
Well, the first run came off the bat in the 7th over. And certainly these two have suddenly found their form, got the measure of the pace of the pitch and of the bowling, and they're beginning to explode. And that's 4 more.
Well, when you can pull in front of square, the batsman then is in complete charge. It was short. I'm not sure how quick this wicket is for Hansie Cronje to be able to play a shot like that, but didn't he play it well?
Darren Gough, too wide, too full, and well, that's the shot I think of the day so far.
This is becoming serious for England and for Atherton. If all of your 4 bowlers don't fire, where do you go when you put them in? But again, that left foot not going over, but his eye and hand coordination superb.
Angus Fraser, and he's got it away through. They're trying to close the gap on him there by putting one man at point and one at backward point. There's not much of a gap, because that's his favourite shot and that's where he scores so many runs, but he got that one through perfectly.
The session suddenly becoming all to South Africa. Raymond Illingworth.
Oh, look at that.
Cronje certainly leading his side well, and England desperately need a wicket. There's been a lot of erratic stuff.
Cork back to try and stem the flow, but tucked away for 4 runs.
Again, he waits for that ball to come on to him. Had he gone looking for that, he'd have just hit it to mid-on.
He's caught. That was the away swinger, and Hansi Cronje went looking for it. The outside edge, and the safe hands of Jack Russell, his 100th catch, I think, in Test cricket, to go with 9 stumpings.
That's right. The captain there is very cross with himself for getting out just before lunch. But all credit to the bowler. He's drawn him into that. It's gone a long way, and it's drawn the bat away from Cronje's body. He's played that 9 or 10 inches away from the front pad, but that's all credit to the bowler.
Well, he was looking so good. In fact, he looked as though he was about to tear the attack apart.
He was on the brink of it, and certainly he pushed Atherton into bringing Cork back, because Gough was too expensive. You see how far that bat's been drawn, but Cronje might be disappointed in that. He shouldn't be. That was good bowling.
So, a big moment for Daryl Cullinan. He's not been in the greatest of form this season, and just the 1 Test 100 to his credit. 5 Test 50s, and for top-line batsmen, a very low average. And Cullinan at lunch, 11 balls faced without getting off the mark, being very watchful. 75 for 2, honours even in the first session.
That's how the 4 bowlers used have gone. You can see there at the bottom the problem that Gough caused, but in the end it brought England a wicket, because Cork, most overs, and all the wickets so far, 2 of them, and he's been the pick.
Dominic Cork, Gary Kirsten, and he's got this one away past the second slip. It'll run down to the boundary, no third man, and those 4 runs bring up the 1,000 for Gary Kirsten in Test match cricket. 26th South African to reach the milestone.
In his 29th innings, 750s, still no 100, but averaging well into the 30s.
That's a lovely shot. Finds the gap. It'll go all the way. Enough timing in it.
He latches onto anything slightly offline or any error in length so quickly. Again, a lot of bottom hand in that. The top hand and arm weren't extended, but so what? He's very, very effective.
Angus Fraser going round the wicket, and that's an absolutely beautiful on drive. Gets his weight up so well, does Gary Kirsten, when he plays on the onside, and he goes to his 8th Test 50. Top score of 76, remember, against New Zealand in Auckland. They'll be desperate to get well past that. 10 fours, high proportion of boundaries in that 50.
Yeah, that's those 4s, the high proportion, have come with the close set attacking fields of England.
And that's sweetly timed and placed. Angus Fraser after it. He's a big man, not very fast across the turf, and enough pure timing as he just eased that one away through the gap. interesting that Hick should be brought on to bowl so early as the 35th over.
Well, that's one of the problems you get if you put all your pace eggs, so to speak, in one basket.
Take that. Again, a fair amount of bottom hand, not quite as much as maybe the other one that spread through the covers, but that really raced away to the boundary.
When you're a swing bowler like Cork, you expect this sort of thing to happen occasionally. That wasn't a half volley anyway. It was hit through the bounce on the rise.
Neil Tovey, South African soccer international, loves his cricket. And he's got hold of that one quite magnificently. Bouncing just short of the rope for 4.
Cullinan was the one South African batsman to offer much resistance to Malcolm at the Oval, and on a less lively, firm pitch, a ball like that, he's climbed into it extremely quickly. Arms well extended, good shot.
And that dropped just short of the slip.
Well, Devon Malcolm wondering where the justice is, and certainly you've got Cullinan playing one side of the wicket and the ball going to the other. See, playing leg side. There it goes, not quite carrying.
Very streaky, but it brings up the 50 partnership between these two. Only 54 minutes. And that's a glorious shot. That's the shot that is the left-hander's own, the square drive.
This partnership now starting to really threaten England. Kirsten in prime form now.
In the air, shouts of catch it, but 4 runs over the head of cover.
His timing was good. He didn't try to club that. Just released beautifully.
Darren Gough. Oh, third slip would have been in business. It's his 50, but it was streaky.
He's come off 87 balls, and he's hit 7 fours. And the crowd now have over 10,000. That's what it's grown to. They've appreciated that. When it's your day, then you can ride your luck. And Gough will be wondering just what sort of day he's got coming, because he hasn't been in great nick on the tour. Also, not much cricket, not much bowling. Missed the last 6 weeks of the English season. You can have 1 or 2 of those days when every bit of luck seems to go against you.
His 6th Test 50. Oh, and another one that's in the air through the slip area. And he's having a little bit of good fortune, because we've had a Chinese cut. We've had those 2 that have flown in the air through the slips.
Yeah, all credit to Gough. His head doesn't go down. He knows that some things will turn sometime, but he's attacking the same line to Cullinan.
Oh, he's dropped him. Jack Russell, the wicketkeeper, has dropped him. Well, Gough can't believe it. He's on his knees. He's seen him nick him twice through the slips, and they've gone to the boundary. And now he finds the edge again, and Jack Russell puts it down.
All you can say is that Gough is not a cricketer whose head will go down as a result of that, but the frustration, the disappointment, and so often those rebounds can end in somebody else's hands. But Russell, in the end, he put everybody off, including the first slip, and there was no chance of anybody, even the backhander, trying to net it.
Past Fraser, and he'll never haul it in. And now 100 these 2 have put on, and what a valuable partnership this is turning out to be for South Africa.
The run rate now in excess of 3, and a long day looming for England unless they can break this partnership.
Daryl Cullinan rapidly hauling Kirsten in. And when you think that Cullinan got off the mark after only 22 balls, after 22 balls, not only 22. That's a classical shot. Looks so good when he plays them like that.
We saw plenty of that in England for Derbyshire this year. He got a few hundreds, and that is terrific stuff. Face of the bat opening nicely, full extension.
Hick again. And Kirsten using his feet nicely, and once again finding that gap. They've really been trying to plug it, but he finds a way through time and time again.
Such an effective player. Made his mind up, footwork good, placement perfect.
He's caught behind one that just went on straight, and if anything might have just gone away from him a touch, and he just got the faintest of edge, and that's the end. Caught by Russell.
There's no turn in this pitch. Hick has barely straightened an off break, and if this one did actually drift, it's actually a little wide to push at defensively. You're not defending your stumps, and that's really what got to him, because the face of the bat, once you push that wide, inevitably it offers a smaller target to the ball, and he got the edge. But good bowling, and Graham Hick's not only done a good holding job for his captain, but he's nicked out that vital wicket of Cullinan. Streaky innings, but full of great shots as well.
Partnership of 137, just too short of the record for South Africa for the third wicket here at the Wanderers, with Graham Pollock and Eddie Barlow putting on 139 against the Aussies in 69-70. And now Jonty Rhodes, not been in great form. One good innings for Natal, and he had a good 50 in the one-day international up in Zimbabwe, but very short of test runs of late. He's got it away again through that gap, and this is the long-awaited moment. He was beginning to worry whether he'd ever get there, but he's there now. A maiden test 100 for Gary Kirsten.
Terrific innings. Anchored his side's innings today, just as Atherton did at Centurion Park, and he's deserved that. Sometimes when you get out in the 60s and 70s, it starts to get to you. You just wonder, is there a barrier there that I can't conquer? Well, he has done this time, and I'm sure that that's not the one and only 100 for him.
Jonty Rhodes has gone. Again, the away swing of Dominic Cork doing the trick, but that was a fairly wide, and Jonty Rhodes had no business in sparring at it.
Well, it also bounced a little bit. You see, it's pitched just outside off stump. It's gone again, and it's also bounced a touch. And this is Cork's strength. He came into this test match with 26 wickets in his first 6 matches, and one of those he didn't get a bowl in at Centurion Park, so he's averaging effectively 5 wickets a test match, and he's on course again here. See the extra bit of bounce there, although, as Trevor said, it was wide.
And he just opened the face of the bat a little bit too, to compound his problem. So Mr. Reliable, Brian McMillan, test average of over 41, nearly 42 with the bat, and when you think of his bowling exploits, a tremendous all-rounder. And that's the way to get underway.
He must be in the top 2 or 3 all-rounders in world cricket. His wickets are only costing around about 30, over 40 with the bat. Terrific slip fielder.
One only, I think. Kirsten's going back for the second. It's going to be tight. Why did he have to go back for that second?
Well, Darrell Hare, who in the past has been known not to call for the third umpire, has given it. He's called for it this time, and that decision looks so tight that third umpire Rudy Cutson has said, no, you stay there. That was tight.
He's gone. The new ball has done it. And Gary Kirsten, almost 6 hours out there in the sun. And that went across him. There was a bit of bounce in it. But I think, too, that a moment's lapse in concentration as he sparred at it. And who can blame him after such a long innings?
It's pitched on off stump, but from the angle Malcolm bowls from, it was always going to go wide. But he batted there for nearly 6 hours. Even if you're not tired physically, mentally, there just comes a little time when you do the odd thing which you know you shouldn't. But what an innings that was, and as good a maiden Test 100 as you'll find, and of what value to South Africa that's been. Again, a little bit of bounce as well.
New ball taken after 80 overs, and South Africa needing desperately to see out the 10 overs with the new ball today. Dave Richardson coming in his number 7 position. Thoughts that maybe Clive Eksteen might have come in as a night watchman.
It's a very difficult period in which to come.
This is in the air, and Russell has taken it. They believe it's out, and so does umpire Carl Liebenberg. Now, where did that come off? It was a very woody sound, I must think, Jack.
Indeed it was. There was quite a noise there. And remember David Richardson getting 40 odd as night watchman at Headingley and getting peppered. He's got peppered here, and that looks for all the world as though that's going straight on to the top of the bat handle.
Point of the bat handle. That's where it hits. That's why we heard that woody sound, and Russell gleefully throws it up, and up goes the dreaded finger. So Richardson, like Andrew Hudson, a duck.
Well, this is just rescuing a few things for England out of what has not been a good day. Let's have another look at it. Now, does it get onto the bat handle? It looks so to me.
Waited for the swing and placed it perfectly.
Brian McMillan's technique is so well organised because he's got a short backlift. Look, he doesn't go up above hip height, but he's such a strong man, and he goes well through the hitting area. Now then, Shaun Pollock.
First Test innings, and what a time to have to come in. Oh, and I think he might have been dropped there by Robin Smith under the helmet at short leg. Yes, Smith not staying down, otherwise I think he would have grabbed that.
He's not a specialist short leg fielder, Robin Smith.
Umpire Hare is not interested. I think that came off the front pad. He's indicating it there now.
Yeah, the bat is starting to offer and then left behind. It was clearly off pad. Good decision from Hare.
Peel for LBW. Second last ball of the day, and he's got Brian McMillan, and that's exactly what South Africa could not afford.
Well, that has turned the day right round. That's pitched middle and leg and straightened, and McMillan didn't get anywhere. See how the right leg's come forward as he's fallen and played round his front leg, and from Cork's bowling release point and the away swing, that is good enough, and that completes a run with that second new ball of 3 wickets for 18 runs. That's a terrific comeback from England.
Useful little 35, but the dismissal right before the close critical, and you see here that front foot, the heel in the end is on the line, so he wasn't that far forward, and a great blow struck by Cork.
There's a look at the day's scorecard. Gary Kirsten stands head and shoulders, just under 6 hours for that 110, his maiden Test 100. Darryl Cullinan 69, he worked hard and looked as though he was getting back to some of his best form. Brian McMillan, though, falling just before close, 278 for 7. And just that one big partnership, 137 between Kirsten and Cullinan, 71 between Kirsten and Cronje. One more's needed, though. Well, Dominic Cork will know that he's worked hard on this first day. 27 overs and 5 deliveries, 4 for 74. Malcolm came good as the day wore on, but disappointing Goff. Hick did a tidy job. Well, much of the same action here at the Wanderers tomorrow, day 2 of this Test match. And you can see it on television. Let's take a look at the transmission times. On CCV from 10 o'clock. Play starts at 10:30, but we'll be opening up at 10 here, through to 4:30, and then from 4:30 to 6 we take you through to the close on NNTV Sport. Well, a fantastic first day's play here. We've had a man making 100, also Dominic Cork bowling some terrific away swing and taking 4 wickets. Everything you could wish for in the first day of a test match, and more tomorrow here at the Wanderers on day 2 of South Africa against England and the second test match. From all of us at the Wanderers, hello and welcome to the Wanderers and the highlights of the second day of play of the second test between South Africa and England. Well, after the first day of play, honours pretty well even thanks to some good bowling by England towards the end of that first day. Let's take a look at the scorecard going into the second day. As you can see, South Africa were going along very nicely through Kirsten and Cullinan, and then things started to go a little wrong towards the latter stages of the afternoon. They lost Kirsten, Rhodes, McMillan and Richardson in pretty quick succession. 278 for 7, just short of 90 overs. And the one big partnership, 137 between Kirsten and Cullinan, 71 between Kirsten and Cronje. As you can see, nothing too substantial after that. Well, Dominic Cork, the danger man for England, really superb effort in big heat here at the Wanderers yesterday. 4 for 74 in 27 overs and 5 deliveries. Malcolm looked better as the afternoon drew on, and he picked up the last 2 wickets, 2 for 42 and 16. Fraser, Goff and Hick the remainder. So prospects are for a fascinating day's play on day 2, and the action is bound to be pretty intense out in the middle. Let's join our commentators Trevor Quirk and Lee Irvin.
As Gerald de Kock said, Dominic Cork, the pick of the bowlers for England on day 1, and will he be able to winkle out the last 3 South African batsmen and get South Africa out for under 300? That is the idea. Clive Eksteen there to resume, a man who has only won first-class 50 to his credit, made this season 58 against Zimbabwe A, but he's made many 100 in club cricket. Devon Malcolm and Pollock with early aggression.
Instructions from his captain just to go out there and enjoy it and play his game, and that he certainly started off doing. Very quick onto the pull. Of course, Devon Malcolm really just loosening up here. No great venom in the ball, but well punished.
And more runs for young Pollock, and he really got hold of that one.
Yes, well, that was a lot quicker. He had a bouncer before that, and still showed his willingness to get onto the pull, got over it nicely, and away it went.
Well, there's no great reason for the tailenders to go out there and just to hang about, because eventually they're going to get out, so they might as well play some shots, and certainly this is enterprising stuff from Shaun Pollock.
Well, it's just the epitome of the attitude of the South African side. This was an absolutely superb shot. Knee well bent, Wally Hammond style, that shot.
Valuable runs here for South Africa. It's up in the air. Robin Smith is out there. He started to backpedal. I think he might have lost it for a moment, but he grabs it in the end, and the end of Shaun Pollock. A very fine 33 made by the young man.
He was a little bit angry at getting out at the time, because he knew that he'd been suckered into that shot. They'd put the man back, Robin Smith, behind square or just on square, deep, just for that shot. There was nobody else in the vicinity. He didn't need to play the shot, but he went for it, didn't get over the top, and paid the penalty. Nevertheless, 33 good runs in only 45 balls.
5 fours. And some very good shots indeed. Carrying South Africa to over 300, just when England were hoping to bowl South Africa out for under that target. Now Merrick Pringle, who amazingly actually headed the Western Province batting averages last season. He made his top score of 60 not out against Free State, and he's got 5 first-class 50s to his name, and when the runs come to him, they come quickly.
Well, that's the
wonderful thing about him. He doesn't hang around.
Angus Fraser. 4 runs. That was an unbelievable shot. He's only just got there, and he comes marching down the wicket to one of the England fast bowlers and lashes him through the covers.
Well, we've heard of good footwork, but watch this. Fred Astaire would have been proud of this shot. Down the track to a seamer. No seamer likes this. And look at that beautiful stroke play.
And that'll be 4. Fine shot by Clive Eksteen.
Well, Clive Eksteen not wanting to be outdone by the man a little bit further down the order than him. His runs have taken an enormous amount of time so far in his Test career. So he's just trying to show the powers that be that he can play nice shots. And certainly did so.
He's had to defend for South Africa before. He'll be knowing more in this match, though. That's the end. He gets a thick edge and a good catch by Jack Russell, diving in front of first slip. And the end of Eksteen's innings. He was watchful while he played with Pollock, who exploded this morning. But this is a beauty.
Dominic Cork showing the advantage of seam, just a little bit of swing, a little bit of seam, but whatever it did fast and beat the bat on the outside there. Jack Russell showing just what a fine wicketkeeper he is. There are 13 runs in 38 balls.
And exactly an hour at the wicket. And this, and a very good catch it is, to the 6th one for Russell in the innings. Remember yesterday, he did drop a catch, Darryl Cullinan. Otherwise he might well have, well, he did catch Cullinan in the end, so I suppose we can't say that he might have bagged 7 and joined 3 others who have achieved that. Oh, that's a peach from Devon Malcolm.
Well, discussing the situation of the England attack with Jeff Boycott, he strongly believes that Malcolm should be a fixture in the England side, and this is one of the reasons why. That is an absolutely perfect delivery to a tail-ender. Just does enough, hits the seam, leaves him. It would have beaten many a better batsman than Alan Donald, and away he goes. So the end of the South African innings with a superb delivery.
Yes, I agree with you. That delivery would have undone many a top-order batsman. Too good for Alan Donald, out for a duck, and giving Devon Malcolm his 4th wicket, and South Africa all out.
The complete South African scorecard, and 55 runs scored in this morning's play. Just 14 overs, thanks mainly to Shaun Pollock's 33 from 45 deliveries. Hit 5 fours in that. Eksteen 13, Pringle 10, Donald making a duck. The partnerships, that 3rd wicket one stands out head and shoulders above the rest, 71 for the 2nd, but nothing too substantial from the remainder of the batsmen. As a result, South Africa not getting over 400. The England bowling, Cork and Malcolm were superb. Cork in particular, 5 for 84 and 32. He's very impressive at the Wanderers. Malcolm looks to be getting back to something like his form at the Oval last year. Gough was less than impressive. Fraser worked hard. England were required to bat for 40 minutes before lunch on the 2nd day of this test, and the South African fast bowlers dead keen to have a go at them. Let's rejoin Lee Irvin and Trevor Quirk.
Michael Atherton, the captain, and Alex Stewart opening the batting. Formidable opening pair. And the world's cameras here at the Wanderers to record it. Average of under 40. Alan Donald to bowl to Mike Atherton. Average of just over 40. Very organised player.
And well experienced, both of them having 50 test matches under their belts.
It's a very good delivery early on from Alan Donald. Thank goodness that came back.
Mike Atherton does like to leave the ball a lot early in his innings, and that's safe as long as the ball isn't directed on the stumps.
Jumped right across to protect his stumps. And that'll go for 4. The diving Jonty Rhodes not able to grab it.
He tried to push that one into the covers, and the speed of the ball made it, or forced it behind square of point to Jonty Rhodes' left. Just out of grasp.
Merrick Pringle opening the bowling with Donald and not Shaun Pollock, because of the variation, I suppose, the swing. A good idea from Hansi Cronje, and that one just dropping short, I think, of the gully.
It's been a long absence for him out of Test cricket, and he was swinging the ball beautifully, as though he'd never left the scene.
He's bowled him. Alan Donald has bowled him. Atherton not offering a shot. This time he didn't get far enough across quickly enough to protect his stumps, and that, I think, just trimmed the off stump. What a delivery.
Yes, Alan Donald has bowled wider from the crease than these chaps will have been used to. In England, he tends to bowl a little bit closer, but he's gone wider over a period of time. So I'm sure that Mike Atherton thought this one was just going outside off stump, but instead the angle did him and clipping the off stump. A very useful first wicket.
And there was a bit of movement off the seam then. We haven't seen a great deal of that. We've seen swing from Cork and from Pringle, but off the seam we haven't seen a great deal of movement, but that certainly did come back at him.
Yes, a little bit. It's a new ball. The seam is large and it's hard, and the most useful dismissal is getting Mike Atherton out for 9. Look at that, just trimming the stump, and he looks up, he cannot believe the sound. Those bails dropping.
Mark Ramprakash, a woeful test record, 17.6 the average, highest score of 72, and look there, he's into his 19th match and he's only got just over 500 runs. A prolific run getter in English county cricket. Can he make amends? Big appeal for LBW Hill against Alex Stewart.
One of the few decisions Daryl Hare's had to make. And he quickly walks down, Alex Stewart, after being given not out, quickly walks down the track to have a look at it to see just exactly why that ball moved so sharply.
Well, it certainly did come back at him, and I think it hit him well above the roll, so maybe a bit too high.
Yes, it was doing too much, I think.
Well, that went right through him.
It's another fine delivery. Now, the biggest problem with Ramprakash is that he really doesn't get properly into line. That back foot of his goes straight back towards the leg stump, and he's playing across the line to Alan Donald most of the time. So it's a really difficult situation for him, and unless he starts to get further across with his back foot covering the off stump, he's going to continue to have this sort of problem in South Africa.
Shaun Pollock. Stewart just nudging it away off the 5 pad, using the pace of the delivery, backward a square, 4 runs.
Coming on from Merrick Pringle's end.
Pringle just having 3 overs of swing. Now back. And again, finding that swing, coming back at the other end, taking over from Donald.
And the South African selectors have obviously noted that most of the English players don't really get into line, and particularly to the ball that swings away. Look at that, that's the perfect outswinging. Well, not quite perfect because it didn't get a wicket, but just about perfect outswinger.
Too full and lashed away just in front of square on the offside.
Of course, an outswinger has to keep the ball up to the bat to maximize the swing, and the tendency is to err on the side of a full pitch, and the batsman was ready for that one.
Stifled appeal there.
Yes, another one that's moving in the air, and Alan Donald coming from wide. Look at that delivery all the way going down leg side, and the batsman completely fooled by that. Missed it by a long way.
Bowled him. middle stump. And another failure for poor Mark Ramprakash. Delight for the South Africans and for Alan Donald. His 99th Test wicket.
Well, one could have predicted the way he was going to get dismissed, because he was never in line with the ball today. And this one, the angle beating him, the ball going between bat and pad, and just taking that middle stump clean out of the ground. A very excited Alan Donald. He's now within 1 of 100 Test wickets, and Ramprakash surely now faces the axe. It's going to take a superhuman effort from him in the second innings to retain his place.
No greater sight for a fast bowler than this, the middle stump.
Watch the back foot.
Weaving.
The back foot now moving across at the too late to try and get into line.
Graham Thorpe coming right into form with a good 100 against Free State in the build-up match to the second Test. And a man who has done so well for England in Test matches. And an aggressive player, nobody hooks and pulls better than Graham Thorpe in English batting, and showing that right from the outset.
Very keen to get onto the pull and hook, just to exert his dominance, and away that one flew.
Well, Donald, look at the stare there. That's a little bit of an exchange between bowler and batsman, with Donald having just been hit for 4 and Donald retaliating.
Absolutely. Psychologically, the bowler had to retaliate, both physically and verbally.
Pringle. Oh, appeal for LBW. He surely must be out. No shot offered. No, says umpire Carl Liebenberg. And Pringle can't believe it.
Well, neither could most other people, to be honest. That one was an excellent shot. And Liebenberg is trying to explain how that one was going to miss, and I don't know how he could have. Really, that was as plumb as you'll ever see. Considering the height, and we'll see that it hits him just about on the knee rod. But look how close that he is to the stumps, so there wasn't any room to go over the wickets.
In the air. This is easy. Oh dear. Can you believe it? Shaun Pollock has dropped it.
Well,
that was a sitter.
Absolute dolly. A man who's on a roll. The golden boy of South African cricket at the moment gets brought down to earth with one huge bump. This was a superb delivery. Perfect line and length. Alex Stewart got himself into a bad position. He started to lose confidence in his hooks. Played that bad shot, and down it went.
Well, that's what he tried to do against Alan Donald a short while ago. This time he gets it right against Brian McMillan and gets 4 runs. Donald denied his 100th Test wicket by that dropped catch in only his 22nd Test match. Can Shaun Pollock make amends? The answer is no. That's raced away to the boundary.
He said that he'd battled a little for rhythm early on in the innings, and that was a sign that he just really tried to put the ball there. Thought quick to take advantage of a wide one.
Oh, beautifully played. Cracked that away. And how expensive can that LBW decision and that drop catch be with these two Surrey batsmen together?
England should have been 58 for 4, and suddenly they were 90 odd for 2. Looking good.
It was in the air for a moment. It went past Gary Kirsten at forward short leg. And those 2 runs bring up the 50 partnership between these two.
Yes, well, in Test cricket one could perhaps consider that a chance, although it went past him like a rocket.
Less than an hour for those 51 runs. This partnership turning out to be quite ominous after both have had lucky escapes, and now That's the patch that could cause the left-handed Thorpe some problems. Clive Eksteen, his first ball. And the finger's gone up. Well, they were all leaping about as that went into the hands of the short leg, and umpire Liebenberg has raised the finger.
He was fooled by the fact that the bat hit the pad first, so there were two noises there and the noise of the ball hitting the pad. So umpire Liebenberg obviously fooled into thinking it was a bat pad, whereas really it only hit the outside of the pad, and Graham thought
One to go.
Memories of an intensely contested test match here at the Wanderers, and 4 days of wonderful cricket. And tonight we're having a look at highlights of a dramatic fifth and final day of this test between South Africa and England at the Wanderers. Well, the overnight situation going into the final day was like this. England 167 for 4. Remember the target 479, not really in the frame that, but survival, the main objective of England. 71 overs bowled, Mike Atherton 82 not out. Now the partnerships, Atherton and Stewart, good start for England. And then the third wicket stand. The important stand, obviously the fifth wicket, Smith and Atherton will want to retain that as long as possible. And Donald has bowled exceptionally well with not too much luck, 152 and 18. The contest between he and Atherton has been wonderful. And McMillan, 2 wickets. Eksteen could well play a role in this final day. That's the match situation, 312 runs to win. And England needing to survive this last day. For South Africa, the objective 6 wickets for a win here. Well, highlights of day 5. It's been a dramatic test match, one of the best seen at the Wanderers in many a year. Let's go to our commentary team in the commentary box, Jack Bannister and Trevor Quirk. Here's England's scorecard, and really Atherton stands out as a beacon, doesn't he? Carrying his bat not through the entire innings because they went all out, but really 492 balls, 185. Great support from Smith, Russell, Thorpe in his way, and Stewart. Great team effort. 351 in 165 overs. The partnerships tell another story, the same one really. A long, long time at the crease is what it was all about for England, particularly that sixth wicket stand unbroken between Atherton and Russell, 119 in 457 deliveries. Well, they toiled long and hard without too much reward. Donald 2 for 95 in 35, and Pollock, well, he's finding out about Test cricket at this level, isn't he? After a really exciting start. 2 for 50 in 21. McMillan. Eksteen, no reward, 52 overs, didn't pick up a wicket on the last day. Well, South Africa may feel a little disappointed, having dominated virtually the entire Test match and coming away with a draw, but England must be given credit for a magnificent fight back after a disappointing first innings. And I tell you what, some matches in a few years' time, we look back at this one and say that was a drawn Test match. Only those who are here or where you are now will realise just how exciting and how entertaining this Test match really was. Well, the adjudicator for the Man of the Match award was Johnny Waite, South Africa's most capped Test cricketer. 50 times he played for South Africa, and he opted for 2 men as his men of the match. Mike Atherton for that wonderful 185, and Jack Russell, 11 world record dismissals and 29 not out in over 4 hours. Terrific cricket here at the Wanderers, the second Test match. Once again, the Wanderers providing one of the most riveting spectacles of the year in terms of sport. We've got yet more for you in the third Test match, which takes place at Kingsmead in Durban in 10 days' time. That starts at the unusually early hour of 9:20. We'll be on air, and at 9:30 play starts at Kingsmead. We'll be on air on NNTV Sport from 9:20 right the way through to the close of play at Durban. So that one's one to put in your diary and to look forward to. If you enjoyed this one, stay right where you are for the third Test match. That's all from the Wanderers. From us all, a very good